students, I am here again for the further explanation of lesson number 2 of your book Flamingo, and it is Lost Spring, and it is written by Jung. She is an Indian writer and she has written about life in India. The present chapter is an extract from her book Lost Spring, Stories of Stolen Childhood. Now let us focus on the title. The title of the story is Lost Spring. Lost here means something which is taken away from somebody without his knowledge and without his permission. And another word we have spring. Spring signifies one of the best season of the year, and it stands here in parallel to one of the best part of man's life, that is childhood. So it means childhood is lost. It is further elaborated as stories of stolen childhood, which means childhood has been stolen away. So in the present chapter, Jung trying to tell us the stories of two children whose childhood has been stolen, whose childhood has been taken away. If we focus on the theme of the chapter, we find Jung expresses her concern about the exploitation of children engaged in hazardous work like banner making and rag picking. She also tries to highlight the miserable plight of street children forced into labor early in their life and hence denied of opportunity of education. And the result is back-breaking work, submission to exploitation, and their acceptance poverty as their destiny. Another theme which runs parallel is callousness of society towards these people. The society and the administration is indifferent towards the upliftment of these people. They are trapped by sahukaras, middlemen. They have no hope. They have no one to fight for them. They have no leader. They have no representative. So they are condemned to live a life of exploitation, and they are condemned to accept their poverty as their destiny. So the writer emphasizes the urgent need to provide these poverty-stricken people a life of dignity and opportunity to dare, dream and act freely. Hello students, let us try to understand the sub part of the story Lost Spring, and the title is Sometimes I Find a Rupee in the Garbage. This is the story about a boy named Sahib Alam. He is a rag picker and he is a Bangladeshi migrant. Every morning he scrounges for gold in the garbage. This is what we are told in the text. Here word gold doesn't mean gold metal. It means something valuable that can be sold in the market. Out of enthusiasm to help this boy, our writer Anis promises that she will open a school in his neighborhood, but later on she feels sorry for not fulfilling her promise. Over a period of time, she meets many boys like Sahib Alam, and she notices that none of the boy has put on chappals or shoes. They say it is their tradition to remain barefoot. But in reality, it is not the tradition, it is their perpetual state of poverty that compel them to remain barefoot. Later on, the writer visits their place of living and she reaches Simapuri. Simapuri is a place on the periphery of Delhi, yet miles away from it metaphorically. This is again we are told in the text. They live in Simapuri. This place doesn't have sewage, running water and drainage system. The writer is very disappointed to see their pathetic living conditions. The only facility these people have is an Indian ration card that helps them in getting grain. They say if at the end of the day they can feed their family and go to bed without an aching stomach, they would rather live here than in the fields that gave them no grain. For them, survival is more important than identity. And survival in Simapuri means rag picking because they have no option, they have no other choice. And writer tells, for these people, garbage is gold. This is their daily bread, a roof over their head, even if this roof is leaking. Fine. Garbage has different meaning for parents and children. For children, it is wrapped in wonder. For parent, it is means of survival. After some days, the writer again meets Sahib, and she is very disappointed to know that in an attempt to procure a better life, Sahib has moved from one stage of exploitation to another. Now he works for a tea stall owner and he is carrying a canister. And his canister is heavier than his bag, he says, because the canister belongs to the tea stall owner and the bag belongs to him. Earlier he was a free bird. Now he is no longer a free bird, and in the end this chapter ends with a very prominent sentence that Sahib is no longer his own master. He surrenders before situations. He surrenders before the circumstances and he accepts poverty as his destiny. Thank you. Hello students, let us try to understand the second sub part of the story Lost Spring, and its title is I Want to Drive a Car. This is the story about a boy Mukesh, and this story starts with a very prominent sentence, and this sentence can be considered as the key sentence of this story. And the sentence is, Mukesh insists on his own master. Mukesh wants to be a motor mechanic. He wants to drive a car in spite of the fact that he belongs to the family of bangle makers. They live in Firozabad, and Firozabad is famous for bangles. Every other family in Firozabad is engaged in bangle making, and the irony is that none of them knows the fact that it is illegal for children like him to work in glass furnaces with high temperature, in dingy cells, without air, without light. And due to poor ventilation, high temperature, dim lights and dust of polishing the glass, these children lose their eyesight at a very early age. They become blind before they become adults. Mukesh volunteers to take writer to his home, and the writer is again disappointed to see their pathetic living condition. They are living in stinking lanes choked with garbage. Their homes are hovels with crumbling walls and wobbly doors and without windows. Fine. The writer gets a chance to sneak into the lives of Savita, a young girl engaged in bangle making, and Mukesh's sister-in-law and his grandmother. The grandmother imbibes a fatalistic philosophy. She believes that one is born in the caste according to one's karma. How can a God-given lineage be ever changed? She says, can a God-given lineage be ever changed? She says we are destined to toil as bangle maker and go blind. A discussion with them brings the fact that they people have given up all their efforts to improve their lot. Poverty and lack of education has trapped them into a vicious cycle that seems impossible to escape from. Fine. Firstly, the family is burdened with poverty. They have stigma of caste and they are trapped in the clutches of middlemen, sahukaras, politicians, bureaucrats. If they try to organize themselves into cooperative societies, they fear police will drag them into jail. They have no leader among them. They have no representative. So they lost all initiative. Now they can't dream. They accept their victimization as their destiny. But Mukesh is different. He has a spark in him. He wants to become a motor mechanic. He wants to challenge the tradition. He wants to break this tradition that the son of a bangle maker can only be a bangle maker. He has a very well plan for that. He wants to walk, to go to garage to learn this art. And he is determined that he will one day become motor mechanic. So Mukesh's attitude is totally different from Sahib's attitude. Sahib surrenders before circumstances. Sahib surrenders before the destiny. But Mukesh tries to fight. Mukesh is determined to fight with the destiny. And this is the only difference between the two characters, Sahib-e-Alam and Mukesh. Thank you.